Hello, I'm Skye Taylor, and welcome to episode number 2 of The Crazy Painter. Now, I want you to get a cup of coffee, relax, and don't worry about the quiz this week. You can just sit back and relax. We're not going to quiz you, so don't worry about it. And if you have any questions on this, you can always play the video back. What we're going to do is give you a general idea on color. Just a general idea. Yes, we are going to paint a little bit later on. We will do a small painting. But I just want to bring you up to speed on some things that I think you still need to know before we actually begin. Now, if you haven't had a chance to see episode 1, make sure you go back and watch that. If you don't want to do it now, put it on your list to watch it. And also watch the abstract song. That should be the very first thing you watch because it's nuts, it's crazy, and it gets you in the mood. And then you watch episode 1, and then you should be up to speed. Okay, we're going to be talking about color, the color wheel. Now, every artist should have a color wheel in their arsenal. Now, where do you get a color wheel? Well, you can buy it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, Walmart. Not. You're not going to probably find it at Walmart. I highly doubt it. You could try it, but I looked and I never saw one. But the best thing to do with a color wheel is actually to make your own. If you've never made a color wheel before, and I don't care even if you're a seasoned pro, make your own color wheel. And if you're a beginner, that will teach you the different shadings of the paint as you do that. And it's incredible because then all of a sudden you'll understand how the colors work. And I'm going to show you how to use a color wheel and how to get colors that side by side will pop. We got a little formula going and it's very simple. But you know what? Just like anything in life, if you're not an expert in something, you get somebody that is an expert. Now, Captain Kangaroo had his Mr. Blue Jeans. If you're old enough to remember Captain Kangaroo, if you're too young, forget that. I have my Mr. Tube. He's the tube of paint that knows everything. Well, everything to me anyways. Any questions I ever have, I ask Mr. Tube. So let's ask Mr. Tube about color. Hello, Mr. Tube.
Hello, Skye.
Would you share with my friends your color wheel tips?
How about if I don't want to?
Quit clowning, Mr. Tube. Don't make me put the squeeze on you.
If you do, I'll end up exploding and staining my reputation.
Mr. Tube, you have a real dry sense of humor.
Please, Skye, don't ever say the word dry around a tube of paint.
Oh, boy.
Please,
I meant my
just
match.
put a cap on
I'm
it.
out of here.
Match is what a color wheel is all about. Before I give you the secret to getting great colors, here is a general overview of the color wheel. There are 3 types of colors on the color wheel. Number 1, the 3 primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. Number 2, the 3 secondary colors, which are green, orange, and violet. These are achieved by mixing the 2 primary colors that sit to the left and right of a secondary color. An example would be orange. Mix primary red into primary yellow and you'll end up with orange. Number 3, the tertiary colors, which are yellow-green, yellow-orange, red-orange, red-violet, blue-violet, and blue-green. These colors are achieved by mixing a primary color with a secondary color. An example is yellow-green. Mix green into yellow and you would get yellow-green.
Always mix the darkest color into the lightest color to achieve lighter shades. An example would be trying to achieve yellow-green. If you mix a small amount of the green into the yellow, you will get yellow-green. It would take a lot of paint to achieve the same results if you mix the light into the dark. Here is an example using a glass of water and my favorite beverage, coffee. If I pour a small amount of the dark coffee into the clear poisonous fluoride water from my tap, you will see the water begin to change. But if I pour the poisonous tap water, loaded with fluoride, designed to kill you, but make sure you will die with less cavities in your mouth, into the coffee, there is hardly any change.
What's my point about the water? Glad you asked. According to the book of Skye, drink all the tap water you want, just as long as you don't swallow.
Oops, too late.
There are warm colors and cool colors. The warm colors are red, orange, and yellow. The cool colors are green, blue, and purple.
Welcome, sweetheart. I'm so glad you came. I love you so much.
Get lost! You red in the face, yellow belly!
Why? Why are you so cool to me? I want to look at you, and I feel so blue.
One look at you and I see yellow, and the thought of ever mixing it up with you is turning me green.
How do you say, touche?
All right, I heard enough. I'm here to separate you guys.
Oh.
Tip 1. Color harmonies. Look at the color wheel and pick any 2 or 3 colors that appear side by side and in a row. It doesn't matter what they are, as long as they are all together. If you pick 3, you will end up with 1 primary, 1 secondary, and 1 tertiary color. Tip 2. Choose the complementary color that is directly across from each of the 3 colors you chose. This is the color you will put next to if you want your painting to really pop. Tip number 3. To find the triadic color of the color you chose, we do so with a triangle. With 1 point on the chosen color, the other point of the triangle will point to the colors that will really pop your chosen color when next to it. If you paint enough, you will develop a sense of what colors work with what colors. These color tips will help take the guesswork out of choosing the right color and take your abstracts to a new level. Skye's Easy Method for Color is a helpful guide for finding the right color, and it is not necessary to use all the colors that complement or pop the painting. As an artist, you have choices. Choose wisely, grasshopper.
Get a cup of coffee and join Skye Taylor in Yes You Can, painting lesson number 1.
You caught me. Hey, I'm about ready to paint. I got my painting clothes on and I got my tie. Kind of long, but you should wear a tie. Makes you look dignified. Now, the reason why I wear it is because I'll be painting and I don't hear my wife calling me for dinner and she gets very, very frustrated. So this gives her a chance to march down here, grab me, and pull me away from my art. Also, if this video doesn't go good, okay, now what are you going to need? You're a beginner. What paints do you need to start? Well, you're going to need 5 paints. You're going to need titanium white, Mars black, cadmium red, cadmium yellow. You're going to need cobalt blue or cerulean blue. Do not buy ultramarine blue. Not good. You want to pick cobalt or cerulean blue. Those are the 5 colors. Well, where do you get them? You can buy them at Walmart. Doesn't make a difference when you're first starting out. You just want to get those colors. Now, abstract artists really have an array of colors. But when you're first starting out, the basic colors, and if you're on short of money, that's the great beginning. It's a great beginning. But the reason why artists have multiple colors is because when we're painting abstracts, we don't want to stop and mix. We mix right on the canvas. You want to learn how to mix right on the canvas. You don't want to stop and have to mix all these colors, because what happens is that it ruins the moment. You want to be in the moment, in spirit, and painting, and not concentrating on what colors you have to mix. You want to let it happen spontaneously. And you could do it with the 5 colors also. Learn how to mix right on the canvas. Now, speak about canvas. What kind of canvases do you get? Well, when you're first starting out and you haven't painted yet, do you get stretched canvases? No, you don't buy stretched canvases. Who told you that one? What you want to do is start out with canvas panels. That's right, canvas panels. You can get them at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's. Use the discount coupons. And Blick, www.thickblick. You can buy stacks of these. What I would suggest is get at least 10. By the time you hit your 10th panel, you'll graduate and be ready to use the stretched canvas. But don't spend a lot of money to begin with. Okay, what else are you going to need? You're going to need brushes. Now, you can get a package of brushes at Walmart or Michael's, Hobby Lobby. Use the coupons. Now, what you want to look for in a brush is make sure that the hairs aren't all over the place like me. You want to make sure that the brushes look good. If they look good, they'll probably paint good. You can get a package of assorted brushes anywhere from, I would say $5 to $10. Never spend more than $10. The best deals are Michael's and Hobby Lobby, because you get a 40% off coupon if you can find one, 30, 40, 50% off coupon, and you can get better quality brushes cheaper. So you want to probably use the coupon. Remember one thing, folks. If you live in Illinois and you got to get to California, a Volkswagen is going to get you there the same way as a Rolls Royce. What I'm trying to say is you don't have to spend a lot of money on expensive brushes. Just have good brushes in order to paint decently. Remember, it's not the brush, it's the artist. As long as you have a decent quality brush, any artist will be able to paint good with. You don't have to have a really super expensive brush. So just keep that in mind. Okay, what else are you going to need? Well, you're going to need a bucket. Maybe a couple of buckets. Couple of buckets now, and filled with water, at least 2 buckets. You can buy them at Dollar General for like a couple bucks, or maybe Walmart, or even a dollar store. You might be able to pick up a bucket. But you're going to need 2 of them. One to clean your brushes, and one to always store your chip brushes in. Now, if you have the package of smaller brushes, you don't necessarily have to store those in water, but the chip brushes, it's a good idea. So let me show you the next brush that you should get. Now I got to go down. I got to stick my hand in this ice cold water. So if I don't come up in 5 minutes, send a rescue team. Okay, wait a minute. I don't want to show you any painter's crack, so kind of look away. That's why I wear these long shirts. Okay, close your eyes. Okay. Okay. Chip brush. 2-inch chip brush. Soaking wet. You can get them at Walmart for 50 cents. But you always want to store them in water, which I said in previous videos. If you haven't watched previous video, my previous episode, episode 1, make sure you watch that. But a chip brush, you got to at least have, I'd say buy 2 or 3 of them. Okay, you can get them in different sizes, 1 inch, 2 inches. I tend to use the 2-inch like 80, 90% of the time. 1 inch, maybe 10% or whatever. The bigger brushes, I don't. I can do a lot of coverage with this brush. So basically 2 brushes. At least have maybe 1 or 2 1-inch brushes, and at least three of the 2-inch brushes. Now they are going to lose hair at the beginning, a little bit. But once they become seasoned, you know, they'll stop losing their hair, you know, not like me. I've been losing my hair for 30 years. But your brushes are going to look like this. Stop laughing. It's not funny. Okay, but anyways, let me throw that back in the... Oh, I can't swim. Okay, so that's what you'll need. You'll need brushes. Okay, what else do you need? Well, you're going to need palette. Now you can get these at the Dollar Tree. They are chopping boards. You get them 2 for $1. Or you can find them around in different stores. Now what's nice about this is that the acrylics, you can peel them right off. If you leave something to dry, you can just peel it off, and this will scratch off. You can see it scratches right off. Oh, making a mess here. You could scratch it off with a palette knife and clean it up. Okay, what else are you going to need? You're going to need paper towels. Where do you get the paper towels? Well, if you're lucky enough to have a Dollar General by you, you could get a 3-roll for $1.50. Good deal. Now these will be used to wipe down your brushes, wipe off your palette knives, and pick up any spilled coffee that you've done. I've used quite a bit of them for that. Okay, so that's what you'll need. And what else? A water bottle. You're going to need a water bottle. Now, you can pick this up at any dollar store. It's $1. If you'll notice, it's white. It's not water. What is it? I'm not going to tell you. If you didn't watch episode 1, I'm not going to tell you. Go watch episode 1 and find out why, what's in here, and why I don't use water. Okay. I think it's in episode 1. Watch it anyways. Okay, painting clothes. I got my painting clothes on. Now I picked this up at the resale store for $1. That's it. I bought an oversized shirt. What do you mean it fits good? It's oversized. What are you trying to say? Sure, I'm a little plump, but... So, anyways, that's what I did, and it's really comfortable. I really like it a lot. So, it was only $1. And the reason why I bought it is that when I'm painting, let me tell you a quick story. When I painted my very first video, it came out outstanding, but I had painter's crack. I would bend over and, man, it was just embarrassing. I couldn't show the video, you know, so that video never got seen. It got erased because the painting came out outstanding. It was a speed painting, but all you saw was painter's crack. And I didn't want to hear the comments. So that's why I bought this shirt that hangs down. No painter's crack. Ooh, there you go. Okay, what else are you going to need? You're going to need an easel or a place to paint. You could even use a table. That's fine. Easels are not cheap. This was really expensive. I was lucky enough to get it at a discount at the closeout. Dick Blick has a kind of like a closeout center where they might get returns or things that aren't up to par. And this thing was just missing the wheels. So I got it really cheap. And I don't care anyways because I'm not going to move it around. So you got to kind of shop around. Or any easel. You know, it's worth it. You can get it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Use the discount coupons. But you should probably have an easel. Might be a good idea. Or you could use a table too. Now you could get these plastic sheets, tablecloths at the dollar store for $1. Buy a couple of them, put a couple of them on a table. And this here was a white table, one of those white heavy is it melamite? I don't know what it is. It's a heavy white table. And let's see, you can get them at Sam's Club. I got paper underneath this too. I don't know if you can see this, but it's just a white heavy table. And I put paper down and I put plastic down so paint doesn't go through. And I will do some painting demonstrations flat on the table. So, but wherever you work, make sure that you cover properly because acrylic paint sometimes is hard to get off. So work in an area and properly take the time to set up your area properly so you don't have a lot of paint all over the place. Okay, well, I guess that about covers what I want to talk about. And guess what? It's time to start painting. So I want you to peek over my shoulder while I paint. And we'll tell you a few tips and tricks as we go. I'm going to have coffee, but come on, peek over my shoulder. Okay, we're going to start by toning the canvas. Now that's what I usually do. This is a 16 by 20 inch canvas. And by toning it first, especially when painting abstracts, you're more free to splash the paint or do whatever you want without having to worry to wreck what you've done by going back and trying to paint the background in later, because every part of the canvas should be covered with paint. So by toning it, that allows you the freedom to be free and express yourself. So I'm starting out with, I believe it's called Hope Gray, and it's by Ace Hardware. It's a house paint. But I'm going to mix it with a gel medium, which I already kind of did already. And you want to kind of mix it. Get it in good, because that locks in the properties and it binds the pigments. Now I'm going to spray lightly the canvas, just lightly, with my secret ingredient. Now if you don't know what's in this, you haven't seen episode 1. But this isn't just water, folks. Okay, just a light mist. There you go. And we are going to tone the canvas real quick. It's finished. What do you think? Just kidding. There you go. Hit all the areas. Okay, take a little bit more paint here. And I'm using a 2-inch chip brush, which was soaked in water first, because the reason why you want to always soak it in water is that the pigments don't absorb into the bristles. You want the paint to go onto the canvas. You don't want it to stay in the brush. So by soaking it, it doesn't allow the pigments to soak up into the bristles. That's why I always keep it in water. Don't worry about the sides. We'll get those afterwards. Now there's a new brush, and what's common with new brushes is you get a few little hairs out of them until they're seasoned. Very common. Oh, there's another one. Aggravating. But you know what? There you got it. You just want to get a tone on there, just like that. Get all the corners. Okay, we did it. Maybe you want to make it a little darker. That's up to you. Okay, now what's neat about this is while the paint is wet, you can use the back of the brush to make a design. Just like that. There you go. Let it dry, and then we'll paint over it. I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes, and you can use a hairdryer if you want to speed it up, but I don't. It gives me a chance to go take a coffee break. Okay, let's let that dry for a second, and we'll be right back. Well, the canvas is starting to dry. It's still a little damp. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit more gray into it, just a really light coat to get rid of any of the streaks. I kind of want to have this, I want to have it more solid. There we go, just like that, to get rid of any of the little white streaks in it. Yeah, just quickly like that. There you go. Okay. Put that down. Let me show you my palette right here. I have Mars Black, Cobalt Blue, Titanium White, Cadmium Orange, Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, Cadmium Yellow, and White. And these are the colors that I'm going to be working with for the rest of this painting. Okay, first of all, we are going to start off by putting just a little bit of black. Well, let me clean my brush real quick. All right. Dip it on there. Okay. I'm going to take just a little bit of the black. And you notice how the brushes, do you see how the hairs stick out all over the place like that? That's awesome. That's going to create a great effect. So I'm just going to go ever so lightly. Let's just go right down the line here. Okay, what I want to do is kind of just spray my, just get a little damp. There you go. Okay, get a little bit more black going on. See how that works? You can create some interesting effects just by the little brush, by the brush being spread out like that. Kind of really neat. Neat effect. And also with the spray bottle, because I moistened the canvas, it kind of like makes some really interesting things going on. Really beautiful. Okay. Let's get a little crazy here. Okay, good enough. There you go. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of the burnt umber and a little bit of the white. Let's just do that. Mix that in there. Create some interesting effects. You go ever so lightly. Just a little bit of the white. All right. Taking a little bit more burnt umber and putting it in there. Basically what we want to do is create light and dark spots. Remember something, whenever there is light, the human eye sees light against dark. Look anywhere in your room and you're going to see that something is light sitting against something that's darker, and that's how we see. So you always want to put something light against something dark. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, there you go. We got that going on. Now, I'm going to get a little, same brush, I'm just going to take a little bit of the burnt sienna, maybe pop some of that in there. Maybe a little bit more dark. Black. Let's get some black spots. Okay. Maybe a little bit more dark right here. Create some interesting things. Okay. What I'm going to do is put down my palette for 1 second. Let me pop that over here. Get my brush. Get my gray. I'm going to take a little bit more of the gray. And let's bleed that down in there. Just like that. Now I'm working basically with a drier brush. Let's get a little spray here. If I kind of missed it a little bit, because acrylics tend to dry really fast. That's why abstract artists paint real quick. And I do too, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be going a little bit slower. There we go. I want to have a dark side and I want to have a light side. I want to show the difference. Let me get a little bit of black here. Oops. Okay. Let me sneak over here, grab a little bit of black, mix it in. Okay. I just want to get a little bit more gray going on. because I will be pulling colors here, and you'll see how it all comes together. Looks like a mess right now. It won't be. We'll get it all together. You want to pull colors. Pull, pull, pull. Create some interesting effects. It's light with the brush. You don't have to be heavy with it. Be light. And be... There you go. Make your brush strokes count. Okay. There you go. Okay, let me grab the other palette here. We'll pop this guy down here. Grab this guy here. Okay. Wash off my brush. I tend to almost use one brush through the whole thing. I get carried away. I love my 2-inch brushes. Okay, I'm picking up just a little bit of the white. And what I'm going to do is make this side where the light is coming from. This is my light side, as you can see. We're going to do some light down here too. It's all in how you handle the brush. You want to be really light with the brush. You don't want to be bold for this type of a painting. It's all about the feel of it. You can go down and use the side of the brush. By turning it just a little bit, you get a different line. A little bit more, another different line. So you can vary. You can do quite a bit with a brush like this. You'd be totally surprised. You don't need a lot of brushes. I can paint everything with a 2-inch brush. Okay, let's get a little bit more white going here. Now acrylics do tend to dry really quick, so you have to kind of work quick with them. But by blending and varying your strokes, the weight of your hand makes different. It applies the paint differently. Okay. Let's get a little bit of blue going on. We're getting a little bit of cerulean blue. Let's pop a little bit of blue in here. I have not cleaned my brush. It still has a little bit of the white in it. We're going to put a little bit of blue in here. That's going to change the gray to like a gray blue. A little bit more, just like that. We're going to pop the color on this side. We want it to be a little bit more blue on this side. You see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to get light to like more of a dark. Okay, let's get some blue up here. You basically want to put your colors in lighter and then build up to the intensity. You don't want to go bold at first usually with abstracts. It'll tell you what colors to put in, but you go really, you just go light at first. And blend. Okay, it's coming out interesting. Just a little bit more white. See how I'm doing this now? I'm turning my brush sideways and creating light streaks. Coming down with the white. That's what's going to do it, see? I just made an interesting area right there. A little bit more white. You're going to make this really white up here. What I'm using right now is Ace Hardware ultra bright white latex paint on top of my white acrylic because it's more fluid. It's just a wonderful white. And when I varnish it, it will be with the gloss medium. So it'll be locked on there forever. It'll outlast all of us, I'm sure. Okay. Let's blend that in just a little bit more. Okay. So you see what I did? I'm building up. I love to use white and gray. I don't know why, but it really makes things pop. You know, we could have like a little light coming here. Make this ultra bright right here. Just a couple little spots. I love that brush. That's a great brush with those little squagglies out there like that. Squagglies? I guess that's a new word. But see what you can do? You can just go really light and create some interesting things. Now I'm left-handed, and I'm trying to stand out of the way so the cameras can pick up. So I'm painting at a kind of a weird angle. Normally I'd be right up on top of this. So, but there you go. For a little bit of light. Let's get this over here. Let's make this super bright white. I'm picking up a little bit more of the Ace Hardware house paint, latex house paint, and putting it in there. It has, I mix, when I get the paints, I always mix in some gel medium right in my gallons of paint, just in case I get in a moment and can't mix it in. I'm dry brushing it. Going up and just dry brushing it. Light, 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 light. You can see, just light. Okay, what do we need here? Okay, let me brush off my brush. See how quick? So you got something that looks halfway decent and it's really quick. Let me just excuse my reach here, folks. It's a small area, and I'm left-handed, and I'm working over to one side. Okay, let's do this here. We're going to mix a little bit more blue and a little bit more black. Let's just get a little bit of blue in there. Just touch it lightly. Create different things going up. Just a little bit. Oh, yeah. Just like that. Okay. Okay. I'm a crazy painter, folks. I paint with one brush all the way. I usually don't vary, which is probably not good. You should vary. I might throw in a palette knife here. I might do a little palette knifing. Oops, that didn't look good. I think I'll stick to the dark. Let me just get a little black going on and a little of the burnt umber. I'm gonna put a little blue in there. You don't want to mix it all the way. It's better off if you just mix a little. Okay, switching hands. Ta-da! Let's see if we can, nah, I won't do that. Better not. I'm left-handed. Who am I fooling? I can only do one thing. Just one thing at a time, and not very good. A little spray bottle action going here. It's not easy, folks, being cheesy. Okay, I want a little bit more blue here. I like the blue. Let's draw a little bit. Just add a little bit more intensity blue. Kind of like a blue-gray. Oops. It's one thing about acrylics, you make too much, you can always paint over it. Here you go, we got a little blue going on. Here's some cerulean blue in the corner. Okay, I gotta drop this for a second. I want to get a little bit more gray. Let's get some of that gray back in here. Okay. And of course, when this dries, you can always go over and touch it up a little bit if you want to. Let's see. It's hard for me to see with these bright lights, but yeah, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more of the burnt umber here. Okay. A little bit of black. Okay, let me wipe down my brush real quick, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start blending it. Let's see here. Okay. All right, but see, usually what I would do is have the music blasting and be dancing. You can hear it in the background. But that's how you get into it, is when you listen to the music and you become totally involved in the music, and you don't have to think about what brush strokes you're going to do. Yeah. That's when it's the easiest to paint. And there you go. Let's blend a little bit better now. I have nothing on this brush, and I'm just going to blend it. Okay, I want to put more white on that side. I want to really pop this. Let's give it a reason. Make that glow. Yeah, just like that. Okay. A little white. Now we're going to go streaking it. Put a little white down here and go up. And you know what? I think we're just about finished. I don't see what more I can do to that. Probably a little highlights here and there. But that's what's great about the gray, is when you put the white against it, it really pops it. You have to excuse me, I'm working over to the left side so the cameras can see it, so it's not quite as easy to paint as being right up on top of it. Plus, I got the handicap of left-handed, but it works in this case because I can go over here. It would have been worse if I would have been right-handed. But okay, now we got to name it. It's not bad. Okay, I see something here that I like. I have like a little bit of yellow. Might be interesting to put just a dab of yellow. Remember, if you make a mistake and it doesn't look good, just let it dry. You can always paint over. As long as you can get the basics down, that's the most important part. Okay, let's get just a tiny dab of yellow. I see just a dab of yellow here. Okay. The cadmium yellow, that's kind of interesting. Just a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's get just a little bit more burnt sienna and black. And let's see what we can do here. I can't see because of the glare on the lights. A little bit of disadvantage here. I'm trying to give you up close views over my shoulder, so I have to stand off to the side, and we'll see. Hopefully it'll come out good. Hope it looks good to you as it does to me. Okay, I don't think I want to do any more. Okay, well, I guess you get the idea. Let's see, maybe just add a little bit more white to it before I go. And I'm going to work with this, and I'll show it to you at the end, but you get the general idea. You want to do light to maybe going into another color. I might even make this just a little bit darker. But this is what's fun, is when you do the lights. And then when it dries, you can dry brush it a little bit. Do a dry brush. Get the brush real dry, and you can create some really great, lines and textures. Just like that. Okay, we're going to let that go for right now. And I think that's about it. Let me just get rid of my stuff here. Drop this in. I could probably do a little bit more, but I'm not going to right now. Okay. I want to tell you something. Painting is from your heart. You can do this. Put your hand up on the screen. Touch my hand and believe in me because I believe in you. Yes, you can do this. You can do this. You can paint. Put on the music and let your spirit go and just paint. You have it in you. Yes, you can do it, and don't think that you can't. Anybody can paint, and you can do it too. And I want you to feel my spirit. Put your hand on the screen, because you will be a painter. You will do good. Believe in yourself, and that's what it's all about. You have to believe in yourself. And that's the most important thing. Well, thank you very much for joining us in this quick painting lesson, and we'll be talking to you real soon. Watch for more episodes. Thanks for watching.